Hey there, Blazer fans, and welcome to episode 49 of the Dragon's Den, a podcast for those that bleed green and gold. Today, I have a very exciting guest on the podcast, a men's basketball player from 2011 to 2014, Mr. Jordan Swing. While it's hard to believe that we last saw Jordan as a Blazer 10 years ago, he's been very busy playing overseas and in the NBA G League as well. He's got a lot of great stories, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Thanks for listening. All right, Blazer fans, I've got my guest here for episode 49 of the Dragon's Den, a former guard slash forward for the men's basketball team from 2011 to 2014, Mr. Jordan Swing. Jordan, how you doing today?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. I was in late high school when you were at UAB. You were playing with some of the really great players at UAB during that time, and you were involved with some really good coaches. So I'm really excited to hear your stories.
Yeah, for sure. However much time you got, I got plenty of stories from those times.
Well, that's awesome. Let's go ahead and dive on into it, man. You were born in Memphis. You moved to Birmingham. You went to Vestavia High School, and you won a state championship with the Rebels. What was high
Yeah.
school like for you? And when did you move from Memphis to Birmingham? And how did that all that play out?
Yeah, I guess I'll start from my early childhood. Like you said, born in Memphis. My dad also played at the Citadel, which is a military school in South Carolina, and he actually got drafted, played a year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then after that went into a thing called at that time Spirit Express. It's now known as Athletes in Action, which is a huge, faith-based organization that plays all the sports now. But when he was there, it was basketball, and so that was kind of his professional career, I guess. Even though it wasn't necessarily a league. They played, all over the world. Played against. He also represented the USA in some Olympic, not Olympic, some events for. I think there was a FIBA tournament in Australia that he played in, so he got to represent the USA a few times, which was really cool. So growing up, man, I was living around basketball. By the time I was born, though, he was in the ministry full time, and so that's why we moved around a little bit. We were in Memphis. We moved to Mississippi for a few years, and then right after that, we moved to Birmingham, where I grew up mostly, coming up through elementary school into high school. And yeah, high school. I mean, it was awesome. I played basketball, of course, all 4 years on the varsity. Really got to grow a lot doing that. I think something that helped me get to that point was I have an older brother, and he's just 1 year older than me. So growing up, I would always have to play up with his age group because my parents weren't going to go to two games on a Saturday. So I was always having to play against, bigger guys, faster guys. And I think that helped me develop at a young age and kind of prepare me for those, high school, college, professional years that were later to come. But yeah, back to high school, it was up and down for sure. My first, really my first 3 years, we weren't great. We did go to, I think, the Sweet 16 my sophomore year, but I think when we entered the tournament, we were either 500 or maybe even like a little below 500 on our record for the year. So I don't think many people expected us to get there, but we won a couple games and we're playing right at the right time, playing good at the right time. And then come my senior year, we were, pretty good that whole year. I think we ended up going like 27-4, something like that, 27-5. And funny story is three of those losses were to the same team, Hoover, that
Wow.
year. And that was the team we had to beat to go to the Sweet 16. And so that was kind of like a real sweet moment, beat the rivals to continue on in the tournament. But actually, in the game before that, I had a bad injury on my knee where I like hyperextended it bad. Went to the first doctor. He told me that I was done. Like I had to have complete surgery, torn ACL, and then ended up getting a second opinion from Dugas over at Andrew Sports Medicine, which shout out to him. He's been huge even today, which is helping me with recovery stuff and all the little injuries you have playing so long. But he checked me out, was like, hey, there is like a little bit of a tear, but it's not significant enough to have surgery, so you can rehab the crap out of it. And so that's what I did. I was checking out of school to go to rehab and doing like 3 times a day trying to get back to where I could play. And we had a week, I think, before our next game, and ended up getting to a point where I could play, and had to wear like a little knee brace the rest of the year, but and definitely wasn't 100%. But it was a crazy run. We won. We beat, I think, three of the top five teams on our way to the championship, and one of those things where it was just like the perfect group of guys. I think we had like everybody kind of played their role. I was the only one other than we had one other guy walk on at Auburn, but I was the only one that went and played D1 from that squad. So it was just a bunch of guys that came together, liked playing with each other on and off the court. We were really cool. So that just made my high school experience like really fun. Just getting to play basketball with your best friends, and we didn't take anything too serious. We had a couple funny locker room situations. We were at a tournament at Spain Park, and we were kind of like messing around the locker room before the game. Ended up accidentally locking a player in one of the lockers pregame, and so like we're in there. We don't. Coach is about to come in to do his like little pregame speech, and this kid's like locked in a locker. We're like freaking out, trying to figure out how to get him out right before we're about to play, a tournament game. So we didn't take things too serious, and I think that helped us, with our playful manner, and just kind of overflowed to the court of playing together and meshing well. And it was a crazy run.
Nice. Well, you went on to Western Kentucky and played for the Hilltoppers for one season, and then you decided to transfer and landed back home at UAB. What went into your decision to transfer, and what made you come back to UAB?
I guess a couple factors. I really love playing up at Western Kentucky. Um, the fans are crazy. You're in Kentucky. It's a basketball city, and Bowling Green it's a big college town. When college is out, there's not much happening there. So all the games are packed. They love basketball up there, and so I really enjoyed my time up there. Just didn't really mesh with the coach. Not to get too deep into it, but just on some respect levels and stuff like that. It just wasn't a good fit for me. So ended up transferring. And then I came to UAB. It was actually kind of funny. I was just home. I think I want to say the summer after my freshman year up at Western Kentucky, and just playing some pickup down in like the Birmingham area. And I think one of the GAs might have been like hanging around the gym and saw me, and had no, like, really at that time wasn't planning on transferring. And he just came up and was like, "Hey man, like, if you're ever looking like for a new home, like let us know first, and so we can talk to you." And so I kind of put that in the back of my mind, and I was going to give it another chance at Western. I went up there for the summer school part where you had to go for the 2 sessions, and it was kind of just more of the same. Like, just really wasn't a good spot for me. Didn't mesh well with the coach. So after that, I went on and made my decision to transfer, and of course, reached out to UAB first before I opened up, my whole recruiting process of deciding to go somewhere. And the coaching staff there was amazing. Donnie Marsh, Mike Davis, just they were all great. Loved being around them. I think they were phenomenal coaches, especially Coach Davis. He was, I think, in my opinion, like a little bit of ahead of his time as far as um, training and individual work and his offensive, mindset. It was just a great fit for me, and I loved playing under him. Of course, as it played out, it didn't work out, um, but had really one great year, two years under him, but 1 year playing. And I had a great year. I think it was my sophomore year. I averaged, close to 12 points a game, and which felt great because I was getting to play, how I felt like I can play. Where at Western, I wasn't really being able to do that. So, that gave me a ton of confidence coming out after freshman year, averaging 2-3 points a game. You're only playing spot minutes here and there, and then having to sit out a whole year. which is tough because like now it's just, guys are transferring left and right and you're playing right away. So I kind of missed out on the whole portal thing. But it was still, I think I don't regret the decision at all, to come back home. And then also getting to play in front of, friends and family, and still kind of had a pretty big buzz from when I finished in high school. And so it was just fun getting to come back home and play for your hometown, which is a really cool experience.
Yeah, you mentioned that your first year at UAB was the 2010-2011 season. UAB did very well that year, going 22-9, won the Conference USA regular season, and made the NCAA tournament. You sat out that year, as you mentioned. But what was that year like for you, and what were your initial relationships like with the guys on your team?
Yeah, it was huge. I think that year I probably learned the most I've learned in my basketball career yet. Just about the change of, the speed from the high school level to the college level. And then also like my game being able to adapt to that. And I got, a ton of confidence builders throughout practice because, I mean, I can't play. So I was treating those practices like they were my games. So I was, going hard, and I'm the best player on the other team, on the scout team every time. So I'm getting to shoot all the shots and play free on offense, and I think that really did help me to kind of open up and play a little more confident, a little more aggressive, coming off a tough freshman year at Western Kentucky. And then as far as the relationship goes, it was awesome, getting to see Aaron Johnson and Jamar Sanders and some of those guys in their senior year where they were just playing some of the best basketball they had. It was cool to be able to go against those guys in practice, and it made me a lot better. And I think I pushed them as well because of me treating practices like a game. They don't want to get scored on, so now they've got to play a little bit harder. And so it was a good, it was a great building year for me. I was able to put on like 15 pounds in the weight room, got a ton stronger, a little more athletic. So it was a great building year for me. I think I took advantage of having that year that I had to sit out.
Yeah, as you mentioned, your first year playing for the Blazers was in 2011, 2012. You were
Yeah.
the second leading scorer and a really good 3-point shooter. It was a rough year for the Blazers, going 15-16, and it was last year for Mike Davis. But you kind of talked about him for a minute there. But what was it like playing for Coach Davis overall?
It was awesome. Like I said, he's like super offensive minded, and of course, I love the offensive side of the ball. And so he instilled a lot of confidence in me because his mentality was like, if you put the work in the off season and leading up, like he's gonna let you take those shots and play that aggressive play as long as you put the work in, and he's gonna instill that confidence in you. And that's what he did with me. And I think that's why I had a great sophomore campaign, even though we didn't perform how we would like on the court as far as wins and losses. It was also another great building year for me, and I loved getting to play under him. And I would have loved to have seen what happened if he could have stayed and I could have played under him the whole time. But it's a business at the end of the day, and even it was kind of wild, like coming off a, like you said, 22-win season, NCAA tournament, and just 1 year where you have an average year, it's cutthroat. So that's just how it happened, and kind of had to adapt. I had to adapt my whole college career, so that was another tough thing too. Going through 3 coaches in 3 years, it's not easy.
Well, your junior season was the first year for Jared Hass. It
Yeah.
involved some growing pains as well, going 16-17. What were some of the biggest differences in coaching styles between Coach Davis and Coach Hass in your eyes?
Um, I don't know. I mean, styles, I guess, like I said, Coach Davis super offensive minded, and he literally just took the offense and he let Coach Marsh do all of the defense. So it was almost like we had 2 coaches, and of course, Davis had the final say over all of it, but he really trusted Marsh with the defensive side, and he kind of overtook the offensive side. Whereas Hass was a little more traditional of he's going to coach it all, and um, brought a lot of stuff from North Carolina, their secondary break stuff, and kind of how Roy Williams went about things. I think he tried to reflect that, which rightfully so. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame coach right there. So why would you not take what you learned under him and kind of make it your own? But yeah, just like I said, two different type of coaches. Didn't mind playing for either of them. It's just tough, being a transfer guy and then finding a home, kind of making your place in your sophomore year where you're establishing yourself, and then a whole new coach comes in, whole coaching staff. You got to just prove yourself all over again, kind of show them how you play, and worked out great my junior year. And then I think when he got some of his guys in, it flipped my senior year, to where I had, and for me, it does hurt a little bit looking back on it because after my junior year, because I sat out a year, I'd already graduated. I think that year I was like top 10 in scoring, rebounds, and assists. One of only two guys that did that in Conference USA. So I was getting some looks, some NBA looks, and some agents reaching out saying, maybe late second round. If not, you'll definitely have like a lot of workouts for some teams. All it takes is to impress one team. And so my mindset I was kind of torn. Like, do I leave early and chase that dream, or do I stay and try to build on my, 14, almost 15 points a game, move that to like 17, maybe grab a few more boards, a few more assists, and see if I can, slide into the draft, like solidify myself as a draft pick. And that's the kind of the route I went. Hindsight's 2020, but looking back, I wish I kind of would have left after my junior year and pursued that just to see what would have happened. Because of course, I mean, well, the listeners might not know, but senior year I fell off a little bit. The new coach brought some of his guys in, kind of pushed me and two of the other guys who stayed from Coach Davis's staff to the side. Um, and so it was a little bit more of a down year. But I mean, it all worked out in the end. I'm happy. I'm just finished my 10th year as a pro, so can't really complain too much.
Well, yeah, your junior year, you had some of your big games of your career. You had 24 points and 6 steals and a win versus UTEP. That
Yeah.
included a game time basket to send it overtime. You were one assist shy of a triple double. That would have been, I
Yeah.
believe, you would have probably been only like the second or third guy to ever do that
Yeah. I
at
think second, I
UAB.
think Paul, what
Yeah,
was his name?
uh,
I can't remember his name, but I think he was
Paul
the only
Delaney,
one. Paul
Paul
Delaney. Yeah.
Delaney, and I believe Alan Ogg did it once before
Okay.
that. But
And I was mad too because nobody told me I had 9 assists, or I would have been like really trying to get that
trying to
last
pass
one.
that ball off to anybody.
Yeah, I was trying. I would have tried hard.
Yeah, you had 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists at Tulane. Um, it was likely your best season as a Blazer, but
Yeah.
you did have some newcomers on the team, Rod Rucker and Farrell Alihadzik, who were big additions to the team. What was it like having them on the team that year?
It was good. It was good. I think they came in and helped right away. Rod was he was a great player. He was one of those guys who wasn't the most skilled, but he was just going to outwork you. Really played hard. Just had a good sense for the game, and where rebounds were coming off, and he was one of those players who always in the right place at the right time. Like, it just seems like the ball is like a magnet to him, and so it was fun getting to play with those guys, and really unselfish, and really just wanted to win at the end of the day. So it was fun getting to play with those guys.
Your senior season had some crazy games. You had a nail biting win to start the year versus Rutgers.
Yeah,
Heartbreaker to New Mexico at the Charleston Classic. I remember watching that game vividly,
yeah,
and the heartbreak of that basket going in for New Mexico to send it to, I believe, overtime.
yeah,
But you got a win over Nebraska in
yeah.
Charleston, and of course the win over number 16 North Carolina. What were some of your memories from those games?
I mean, it was great, especially being at home for that North Carolina win and the students rushing the floor, and it was, a packed house. And it's just, one of those things that you kind of dream about as a kid, getting to play against one of the top programs in college basketball history, really. And that was, a really fun atmosphere. And then those other games, those feelings, they're going to be gone soon because I'm, towards the end of my career, and it's just fun to kind of relive them and look back and see that we did, accomplish some pretty cool stuff while my 4 years at UAB.
The remainder of that season had its ups and downs. UAB finished 18-13, but you
Mm-hmm.
kind of alluded to it. But looking back on it, how do you view your career at UAB overall?
I feel like, I had a great career overall. Definitely not the senior year that I wanted, but just, to see my growth from, 11 to 14, almost 15, and then was wanting to build off of that on that next year. But, things don't go as planned always. And having to play for three different coaches is not always easy. But overall, when I look back, I'm happy with my time there and the stuff that I was able to accomplish. Becoming 1,000 point scorer in college is it's not an easy task, and that was it's something that I did accomplish. So definitely some stuff to be proud of.
Yeah. You talked about a couple of them, but you played alongside some of the really good UAB players during that time. Cameron Moore, Chad Frazier, Rob Williams, who's assistant with
Yeah,
UAB,
assistant.
Preston Purifoy, Ovi Soko, and the additions, as you mentioned, of CJ Washington, Denzel Watts, Tosin Mahinty, and Tyler Madison in your senior season. What was it like playing with these guys?
It's great, man. Like you don't always get teams where guys get along and you enjoy playing with everybody. And I think I can honestly say in my time at UAB, I enjoyed playing with everybody, not only on the court but hanging out outside. Like we did a ton of stuff together, and I made relationships with those guys that I still keep up with today. Me and Rob are still really close, with him being at UAB and staying in Birmingham, and it's cool to see that those relationships you make in college can last a lifetime, which a good amount of them have.
Well, I'm going to go to one of my listener questions from Kev Mo at KevMo4 UAB on X. He asked, favorite UAB memory on and off the court?
Okay. Favorite UAB memory on the court, I'll probably have to go to two, and they're both against North Carolina. The first one being the win at home, of course. Amazing time, like I just said, students rushing the court like there's just no feeling. And then also when we played them at North Carolina, I had a great game. I had like 21 points. Really felt like I was just playing my game and one of the best players on the court. And as we're walking through the line, Roy Williams stopped me. He's like, "Hey, great game. You were the best player out there tonight." And so that was just a really cool moment for me to hear that from a coach that has coached some really big talent. It kind of just solidified, making me feel like I belong out here. And then off the court, that's tough. I guess it's not really off the court, but just something that I look back on, and it was a fun time, and like we really enjoyed it. Was that first hoops on the asphalt thing that we did outside, and then like the whole like dance team like choreographing us to dance and stuff, and all that time. That was just like a really fun, goofy, like just having fun with your friends type thing. So I really enjoyed that.
That's awesome. No, I love those events. Those were awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
It was always fun. Got to see a little bit of a different side of the players, and definitely
Yeah, because everybody sees
yeah,
on the court when we're
yep,
serious and locked in, and then it's fun to like show people that we do have personalities, and
yeah,
we can be funny at times. So
yeah. Well, you went on to play several years of pro basketball, many outside the contiguous U.S. You played Australia, Spain, Belgium, Israel, Germany, Ukraine,
all
Puerto
over, man.
Rico, and Mexico, which is where you're currently playing now.
Yeah.
What has it been like playing outside the U.S.?
It's been awesome. Like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've been able to, like, basketball's taken me to just some really cool places. Like you said, Australia, Israel, Germany, like places that people normally don't get to go. And so, with me being able to do what I love, getting paid to do it, and getting to travel to these places, it's just been incredible. Just being able to, like, submerge myself in different cultures, and I get to see how other people live, and the world just becomes so much bigger when you realize it's bigger than just my hometown in Birmingham, Alabama, and there's a lot more stuff out there to see and do, and it's helped me grow up too as a man. Living on your own, your first year out of college, and I'm moving around to Spain and having to figure out how to cook and feed myself and all this type of stuff, where in college, like, I mean, they make it real easy for you as far as, finding a place to live and making sure you have meals and you're fed and you're on time, and it's real structured. And then when you get to, I guess the real world, some people say it's different, a lot more responsibilities. And then on top of those responsibilities, I'm having to do it in a different country to where, I don't speak the language. There's a little bit of a barrier there. And so it's been an awesome trip for me. And just being able to play in so many different places, it's been really cool.
So I got another listener question. I got the same one actually from Richard McCallum 99 on Instagram, and also from Kev Mo on X. They both asked, "What was your favorite country you've played in?" And Kev Mo also asked, "What was your favorite city you played in?"
Okay. I would probably have to say, see, that's tough because if we're just basing it off like the living, then I'd probably say Australia. Just because I love the beach, and the weather down there is incredible. Everybody spoke English, so it was like an easy transition for me. But I guess if it's like a combination of the two, like the basketball league plus the living situation, I would probably say Israel, to be honest. It's awesome out there, and of course, it has like a bigger meaning for me being a Christian. Getting to see, those places that you read about in the Bible, and walk in Capernaum and see the Sea of Galilee and walk through Jerusalem in the streets. It brings kind of a new meaning to the word and the stuff that you read growing up, and the stuff that I believe in and have a faith in. It kind of brought that to life for me a little bit. And then on top of that, like I had the beach, the Mediterranean Sea. I lived like 15 minutes outside of Tel Aviv, which is a beautiful city. And it was just the weather's warm. Also, the travel wasn't bad because, I mean, Israel's tiny, so our farthest away trip was like 2 or 3 hours. Whereas in Germany, you might have a 9 hour bus ride, or you're taking trains or taking flights, and over there it was just an easy little 2 hour bus drive and you're back. So yeah, I'd probably have to say Israel all around. And then places where I feel like I could live, I would definitely say Australia.
And favorite city in particular?
Ooh, favorite city. Probably the coolest is when I was playing in Euro Cup in Israel, and we traveled to we played against Monaco in France. And that city is like that's like a different world right there. There's, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, Range Rovers all driving around. They have like the famous casino there that we went and saw. I think one of the James Bond was filmed there or something. So that was like a really cool city that I got to play in.
Nice. You started your pro career with the Canton Charge in the NBA G League in 2014. After many years of playing overseas, you came back and you played for the Birmingham Squadron in 2022. What was
Yeah.
it like playing in the G League, and what was it like coming back to play in Birmingham?
Uh, it was good. I mean, the G League is it's definitely not the easiest place, just with how political, I guess you could call it. The NBA team they have some guy. It's a developmental league, and I knew that going in. So it's a little less about winning games and who's playing the best at the time. It's more about wanting to get this guy reps and seeing how he does with 35 minutes, no matter how he's playing, type thing. So I kind of knew what I accepted going into it. So that part was a little frustrating. And then also when I came back, I was injured. I broke my finger twice that year, the same one. So
Dang.
that was a little frustrating because I started off really well. I was, averaging like 16 and a half, shooting like 55% from three. And then the fifth game is when I broke it. And I was out, 3.5 weeks, came back, played like 3 games, and then broke the same one again. So it's like a deja vu. I'm out another 3.5, 4 weeks, and then I come back, and it's just, getting back in the rotation and getting your feel back. It's just not easy after being out, almost 2 months. And then the season's short there. I think it's only 5 months. So, but it was a good overall good experience. Being able to play in Birmingham again was really cool. Friends and family getting to see me play in my professional career, which didn't happen a lot because I'm in Europe and all these different places. It's not easy to travel. So getting like allowing some of those friends and family that didn't get to see me play while I was in Europe, allowing them to see me play while I was back home was really cool. Great experience there as well.
Nice. So I got another listener question here from Birmingham Sports at Birmingham Sport on X. He
Yeah,
said,
that's my guy. That's my guy.
he said 10 years pro is legendary. I've got to ask, what advice would year 10 Jordan give year one Jordan?
Ooh, that's a good one right there. That is a good one. Um, Shoot, I didn't think about that for a minute. I guess I would probably tell him to just enjoy the ups and downs. I think early in my career, when I would get down, I would like really take it hard and be pissed off about games for days and sometimes a whole week because you only play one game a week sometimes. And I think just enjoying the process of what professional basketball is for you. You're going to have some years where it's a little tougher. You don't vibe with the coach as much. And then you're going to have great years where you really excel and you're playing well and just trying to, enjoy the day to day. Because you can get caught up in always trying to get to that next level and always trying to get, to that better check next year or that better team next year. And really sitting back and enjoying the day to day and the process of, going to practice, looking forward to those games. And because, man, it went by quick. Like I feel like I haven't played for 10 years, but it's been 10 years. And, I feel like I just started a couple years ago. So, yeah, I guess enjoy every moment of it would be my advice to my younger self.
Okay. On that same path, I'm curious, what has been your biggest challenge as an athlete and how did you overcome it?
I think something that I've always had to fight against is being kind of labeled as just a spot up shooter. Um, being able to shoot the ball well. Um, Sometimes you just get labeled into that. Okay, just put them in the corner, let them catch and shoot. And I think there's a lot more to my game than just that. I'm a good creator, playmaker, playing off ball screens, shooting off the dribble, this kind of stuff that I've had to kind of prove year in and year out that this is my game and I'm not just spot up in the corner, shoot it, and get back on defense. So that's been a challenge that I've had to kind of overcome a bunch of times, and but I'm glad I've had to because it's made me kind of work harder in the off seasons to prove not to not only to myself but to coaches and scouts and stuff that I can do these things as well. So I think while it's been kind of a not a struggle but a challenge, it's also been something that's helped me and to build some confidence as well.
Do you have any pregame rituals or things that you wear for good luck during games?
No, not really. I'm not like real superstitious. I like to get in a good flow before games. So I'll go about an hour and a half before and like get some shots up, ball handling stuff on my own before we start doing like our team warm up stuff. Cause I like to have that flow and that feeling. I'm a real rhythm player. So I like to have that before we start doing, our team stuff.
Okay.
But other than that, not really. I mean, I guess if I'm kind of a little sneakerhead, so I have a bunch of shoes. But if I play well in one, then I'm probably going to wear those until I don't play well in them, and then I'll switch them out and stuff like that. But
All right.
that's probably about it.
All right. I know this might be a tough question because and I'm sure you've made a ton over your career, but what is the biggest shot you've made in your career?
Ooh, uh, that's tough. I would say up there is I think it was my junior year actually at UAB in the conference tournament. We were playing SMU, and I hit the game winning shot. I think may have been like 1 second left on the clock, but I hit the game winning shot to win that to send us into the next round. Definitely a memorable shot right there. And then another one, I had a shot in Israel. We were in the cup. They have like a mid-season cup, kind of like they introduced in the NBA this year,
Mm-hmm.
was like the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
They stole that from Europe because in Europe every league has it's like a mid-season cup where you take halfway through the year the top 8 teams and they play in a tournament and they have like a mid-season cup winner. And so we were in a game in that, and I hit a three with a few seconds left to kind of solidify the game to send us in the next round for that as well. So that's another big shot that was real memorable.
Nice. Final listener question. It comes again from Kev Mo. Future after basketball? Question mark.
That's interesting. I've put some thought into that recently. I know I want to do something with basketball. I love the individual training part aspect of that. Honing in skills and building on skills and individual work. It's something that I think has allowed me to be a 10-year pro because I put a ton of time into that, and I think kids can benefit from the right type of training in that way, and also wanting to keep basketball a big thing in Birmingham. Um, it's been a huge part of my life for the last, I mean, since I was born, really. So I just want to keep it, relevant. It's easy for football to take over, but Alabama's a good basketball state. We have, Auburn's been really good the last few years. UAB's been good. Alabama's been good. So it's a basketball state as well, and we have some really good high school guys up and coming. So just wanting to like put that stuff that I've learned over the years and give it back to the younger generation that's coming up next is something that I would love to do. And I've started that a little bit during the summers while I'm home. I have some guys that I train, and I just really enjoy giving back in that way. So I think something along the lines of that. Not exactly sure like what that looks like yet, but we're starting to figure it out.
So you're still playing, but how is life overall now?
It's great. We just a little update. Just had my first kid, a little girl. Her name's Selah. She's 6 months, almost 7 months now, which is wild to say because I feel like we just started that journey. So she's in the world now, and a lot different of how we have to operate. But I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. I finished the year in Spain this past season, and her and my wife Carly, they both came with me, and just the journey of the last 8-9 years, I did the first 5 by myself, and then the last 3 was with my wife Carly, and then once Carly started coming with me, now we bring in Sailor with us too, and it's a whole new adjustment with traveling with us, having to pack a stroller and car seat, and it makes you got to really think about your day to day when you got a little kid involved. So, but it's been awesome. They're actually coming down here in a couple weeks to be with me here, and so I can't wait to see them. It's been tough being away. I haven't seen her, and I think it's been almost 2.5 weeks now. So, and I feel like they changed so much at a young age. So, I can't wait for them to get down here. But yeah, life is great right now.
Good. How can my listeners stay engaged with you?
I post probably most on Instagram, so they can keep up with definitely the season there, and I normally try to keep updates there. I'm not on X as much, so I'd say probably Instagram is the most place where you can probably keep up with me.
Okay. And Jordan, I got 5 more questions for you. Fast 5, just quick answers. First thing that comes to your brain.
Just
all right.
Fire them off.
Yeah.
Fire them off.
All right. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite environment you played in?
Definitely at North Carolina.
Okay. All right. Worldwide too?
Okay. I didn't think about worldwide. Maybe in Israel, in against Maccabi Tel Aviv, the EuroLeague team. The atmosphere is crazy. They got the huge banners, the flares, like it's wild.
Nice. What team or teams did you like playing the least while you were at UAB?
Southern Miss was always like a thorn in my side. They ran that little matchup zone, and I hated it. I couldn't figure it out at all. They were definitely one of the tough ones.
Okay. What is your favorite hobby outside of basketball?
I would say golf, definitely. I know it's another sport. I guess if you're not going to say a sport, then uh, I like customizing shoes. I like paint on Air Force Ones and some basketball shoes just to kind of create like cool little custom pieces. So I've been doing that for a couple years now.
Okay. What's your favorite movie?
Sports movie, I'll go Pistol. uh, about Pistol Pete and like his life growing up through high school. And then non-sport movie, I think I have to go Batman Dark Knight.
Okay. All right. And last one, what was your favorite place to eat on campus or in Birmingham while you were here?
Mm, Ted's was always a go-to. The little meet and three
Mm-hmm.
right there by Bartow. Um, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy too many places on campus. We didn't have. I mean, we had like the Chick-fil-A and stuff like that, but the commons, the cafeteria was just average to me. But yeah, I guess Ted's is probably was one of my go-tos while I was there.
All right. Well, all right. I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
Well, Jordan, man, I really appreciate you being on. It was is great. I hope you enjoyed the trip down memory lane. But
yeah,
it's Blazer Nation is really proud of you for your extended pro career, and we're wishing you all the best for you and your family. So thank you so much for being on.
yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun getting to, like you said, take a walk down memory lane and kind of relive moments.
Well, go Blazers.
Go Blazers.
All right. I want to thank Jordan for being on and definitely sharing some great stories. It's awesome to not only get to talk to a Blazer, but also get to talk to somebody who is a local product, somebody who went to Vestavia High School and worked his way up. And he's doing a fantastic job in his pro career. So we are definitely proud of him here in Birmingham and definitely the Blazer faithful and many others. So he's made a great fan base over the years, and we couldn't be more proud of him and wish him all the best. So, Jordan, thank you so much for being on again. And that's going to do it for episode 49. Hope you really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to episode 50 coming up very soon. If you're not doing so already, be sure to follow my social pages at Dragons Den EFEL. Once again, that's at Dragons Den EFEL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for game day updates, guest announcements, and so much more around UAB sports. You'll hear from me soon for episode 50. Thanks again for listening. Good night and go Blazers.